In honor of the last day of 100 subscriber celebration week, I decided to sing a song. Or play on the guitar, more likely. This song is called Whatever. What is up, guys? It's Mega Man Chief Fan here. Welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be doing another book rant. I know I've been doing these, I've practically done 3 in a row now, but honestly I'm not really if you could probably see, I didn't technically count the yesterday's video fully as a book ramble, like a book rant video, so I'm gonna do this as the true book rant number 2. So, yay! I'm just gonna tell you this, I have 2 mini reviews that I'm gonna do, and then my TBR, so I'm gonna show you guys what I'm gonna be reading next, and I hope you guys enjoy, so let's get into this. Alright, so the recent book that I read, and the most recent book that I finished, is City of Thieves by David Benioff. This was absolutely fantastic. I loved this book. This is about a boy named Lev who steals from this, like, dead German off. This is set during World War II in like Soviet Russia. So when there was a Nazi German paratrooper that just landed dead in Lev Street, he tries to get a knife from it, and he gets caught, and now he's searching for and then he meets a guy named Kolya, I think is how you pronounce it, and they're both sentenced, instead of being sentenced to death, they are having a last shot in life by, and you're never gonna guess it, searching for a dozen eggs. That's literally it. It's more thrilling than I say it is. But this book was absolutely fantastic. I loved our 2 lead main characters, Lev and Kolya. They were just so much fun, and they were just like, even though this book didn't take itself fully seriously, which I'll get to in a little bit, these characters completely captured that spirit, and they just, when they're funny, they're so funny. It's filled with dark humor out of the wazoo, and the story was actually really gripping, especially for a story that was about finding eggs, and it was let me just say, it's much harder than you might seem. They had to find a farm. They didn't have any stores, so they were just left out of nowhere, and just, boom, we have to find eggs at a farm. So, yeah. And what I want to mention before I get to the next book I'm going to review is that, this book's funny. I'm not even lying. They somehow made this whole situation funny. It's complete dark humor. Actually, no, it's part dark humor, part tragedy, but just, it's such a great book, so well written. In fact, David Benioff, I actually found out about this yesterday, he is the main writer for the Game of Thrones TV show. So, I didn't know that, so that's fun. And yeah, it really shows him having experience with writing, because this book was absolutely phenomenal. I cannot recommend this enough. The only reason why I don't give it a 5 out of 5 is that it didn't have that oomph for me to give it a 5 out of 5, but still, it's a 4.5 out of 5 stars. It was an absolutely phenomenal book. The North Water, not so much. If you guys saw that I was starting this, I started this, and I thought it was pretty decent, but boy did this go downhill really fast. This book is just, it's not even that bad, it's just disappointing. What I wanted was like a survival story. What I got instead was a murder mystery based on, aspects of survival. That's what I got, and it was boring. Oh my goodness, I did not like how this book was structured at all, because it's just, yes, the writing is great. I think Ian McGuire is a good writer, but he just didn't make a good story. He just didn't make great characters. I swear, if those characters dropped the F-bomb one more time, I was going to flip. So, I honestly wasn't the biggest fan of this book. The fact of it being a North Pole version of Moby Dick is a complete lie. It's not epic. It doesn't tackle many themes at all. It doesn't even, the one thing that I was expecting this book to tackle, but didn't, was the theme of revenge. I was expecting so much more out of this book because it could have delved into so much many territories. It could have gone so many directions, but it's just a survival coded murder mystery. And I honestly did not like this book. It was brutal, sometimes senselessly brutal. I just no. I like the beginning of this book, but my god, did it go downhill fast. So, The North War by Ian McGuire, wouldn't recommend it. I gave it a 2.5 out of 5 stars because it wasn't bad. It just was extremely average. So that's my thoughts on The North Water. And now we are going to the books that I'm A, currently reading, or B, about to read. So let's get into this. And starting with The Sound and the Fury by William Faulkner. Oh man, I think I'm starting to get hiccups. The Sound and the Fury by William Faulkner. I'm currently reading this. I'm about 2/3 of the way through, and holy crap am I blown away by this. Well, not really. It's not that amazing, but it's good! I am finally liking Faulkner! That is awesome! I've been wanting, I knew I was going to like Faulkner eventually, but it just needed time for me to settle in, and now, after getting a good ways through The Sound and the Fury, I would not be shocked if this book gets any better. This is getting a flat 4 out of 5. Like, I'm dead serious. I am loving this so far. And I'm not really loving it, I'm really liking this. This is really, it's another one of those family saga stories, and I'm a sucker for these things. Like Middlesex, what else is there? Prince of Tides I haven't read yet, but that's another one of those family sagas. It's most of John Steinbeck's work. It's just so many great family saga stories, and William Faulkner is said to be one of the kings of that, along with, like, Steinbeck and other people, but yeah, it definitely shows, because The Sound and the Fury is his masterpiece, from what I've read. So, what is The Sound and the Fury about? Boy, is that an interesting question, because it is just a family saga. It's a family saga. That's all I have to say. It's a family saga set in the South during, like, the 1920s and the 1910s. Yes, it switches time perspectives, so be warned. The only problem that I have with this book is that it sometimes gets a tiny bit confusing, though I don't think it's nearly as confusing as most people say it is. I do think it is a pretty straightforward story, but it's a straightforward story, but sometimes it's not fully explained straightforwardly, but most of the time you get the gist of it. So, William Faulkner, he's not amazing from what I've read, but I'm liking him finally! Yes! I can't believe I'm finally liking Faulkner. So if you guys have any more recommendations for Faulkner books besides this and As I Lay Dying, tell me, because I'm finally starting to like Faulkner. So I need more Faulkner. Alright, the next book I'm just gonna breeze over because most people know it. A lot of people love it, and that's King Lear by William Shakespeare. I'm starting to I got bit by the William Shakespeare bug. I'm starting to love this guy. I'm starting to love William Shakespeare. And this is one of his best plays, if not his best play besides Hamlet. I'm absolutely adoring this so far. Like, seriously, if you haven't read King Lear or Hamlet, drop what you're doing, read them. And I know one person that I know is probably going to say, you hypocrite, just a month ago you said Shakespeare wasn't that good. And you're right, but I finally got the hang of his vocabulary and his language, and now it clicks with me. It really does. Like, after reading Joyce, I think I can safely say that I don't think I can find a language more obnoxious. I think the reason why I hated Joyce more is the reason why I love Shakespeare more. So, yeah, maybe that's just me being me and blaming James Joyce on everything wrong, but yeah. King Lear is the epic tale of decay of a king, and yeah, that's really all there is. And I don't want to spoil any bit of it, even though it's one of the most famous stories of all time. Just King Lear, read it. It's absolutely amazing. Alright, the next book is that, and now we're going to get to books that I haven't read yet. So, and these are the next books I'm going to read. And the first one is The Absolute True Diary of a Part-Time Indian. Not going to spend that much time on this. This is my buddy read with Peter over at Peter Likes Books. And yeah, it's a YA novel. I think it's YA contemporary, if I'm correct. Maybe. But this interested me. I'm normally not the biggest fan of YA, but I've been interested in this. So, I'm not really a fan of, like, YA fantasy or, like, YA sci-fi. If you're gonna make me read a YA book, it's gotta be, like, realistic YA or YA contemporary. Because this stuff can be up my alley when it's done right. And this does look pretty decent. So, yeah, I'm excited to read it. The next book is American Psycho by Bret Easton Ellis. The video that I did yesterday pretty much sums up my thoughts on this, my initial, like, before thoughts on this. I know that's not a thing, but whatever. I'm just excited to read it, so I'll leave it at that. Alright, the next book is another book that I can just sum up real quick, and that's Upton Sinclair's The Jungle. I'm going to be reading this after American Psycho. This or American Psycho will be my first book of August. Just matters on how fast or how much I like American Psycho. But, yeah, The Jungle, I read, like, the first chapter from, like, a preview, and I was really liking it, but it's gonna be dark! In fact, I don't know which person from the restricted section, I think it was Sue, maybe? Correct me if I'm wrong, but she said, this is the most depressing book she's ever read. Ever. Just ever. So, yeah, I'm excited, so, yeah, The Jungle by Upton Sinclair. I'm pretty excited for that. And the next book that I'm going to be reading is Snow Falling on Cedars by David Gutterson. I think I mentioned this in a haul video, I think I mentioned this in book haul number 11 that I did. So, yeah, Snow Falling on Cedars. I tried to start this, but I'm like, you know what, let's wait a little bit. I know I'm going to like this, so let's just save it until, like, I'm really needing the time. But, after reading Ulysses, which just made me crash, I keep complaining about Ulysses. I really feel bad about it, but at the same time I don't, because Ulysses is one of the worst books of all I've ever read, and my least favorite book of all time. So, yeah. So, Snow Falling on Cedars, I knew I was going to like this, at least giving it a 3 out of 5, so I'm going to be reading it now, so that's good. And the last book I'm going to show off is Wolf Hall by Hilary Mantel. Yeah, not really much to say here. If you want to know my thoughts on it, check out tomorrow's video. Or, not tomorrow's video, what am I saying? Check out yesterday's video and you'll get my thoughts on it. And you might be wondering, where's The Savage Detectives by Robert Milano? I thought you were also having that in your pile. Yeah. I'm going to be reading this instead. Like, Robert Milano, after reading the premise, I did not know what the premise was. I just said, hey, let's pick it up because I know of the book and I know of Robert Milano. And after reading the premise, I was really not hooked. So I decided to send that one back. So, yeah, these are the ones I'm going to be reading. And, yeah, that's really it. But before I go, I want to say something. Let's just get stuff out real quick. Alright, so I'm about to say the next few buddy reads that I'm going to be doing. These are going to be most likely in August, so get ready for this. But this weekend I'm going to be doing With Peter Likes Books, The Absolute True Diary of a Part-Time Indian, and in August, or hope at least by September, I'm going to be doing these two buddy reads. With Shailene Tolan, I'm hoping I'm pronouncing your name correctly, we're going to be doing Revival by Stephen King. So, that's my first Stephen King buddy read, so whoop whoop! Yeah. And then Maggie, I don't know your last name, or because it's pretty much your channel name, but I'm sorry I don't know your last name, but if you're watching, you know who you are. I think it starts with like a D or something, so I'm gonna just say Maddie. Maggie, sorry, so sorry if I said Maddie, but Maggie, we're gonna do American Gods by Neil Gaiman, which is surprisingly the book that me and Peter were originally going to do. So, yeah, I'm really excited for that, because if you guys want to know, American Gods is the first book on the first page of my to-be-read list on Goodreads. So, that's a fun fact for you guys. So, yeah, that's the video. I know this was kind of convoluted, but there will not be a video tomorrow. I'm going back to kind of a more regular schedule, so videos are going to be more every other day. If I get in a video making mood, I may do like a couple more days of like doing videos in a row. But I will tell you this: sorry, no video tomorrow. I just need a break. I don't want to get burned out on this. So that's the video. Tell me what you guys have been reading recently in the comments below. And as always, I'm Mega Man Chief Fan, and I'll see you later, guys.